That's all the skirmish missions. That's freaking excellent. And for context, the VWXX... Alex has the standard upgraded flamethrower. The XX, though, 1,000 versus armor. For comparison's sake, the F2 is really not designed for that. It's a super anti-personnel armor. But the XX is the anti-tank flamethrower. I mean, shock troopers, if buffed with an order, are pretty anti-tank anyway, but if you want to save that command point for orders, break out this flamethrower and you are just done. Once again, I'll equip it just to get the new out of the way, but I think we're pretty set. Well, this is great. Now the only things I have left to do are grind for enemies, complete Chapter 17, and go for that last machine gun, which I think will complete my weapon list, which is good for another award, and then simply beat the game. Well, I've beaten Chapter 17, I've made it to the final chapters, well, the final fights anyway, which means I have unlocked a reward. Can I get the last gun in the game that I need? I've gotten the scout rifle, the sniper rifle, and the lancer from this iteration. This should do it. Mags M20R. And then I don't care about the rest. Do I not hear a jingle? That's okay. Let's leave. Oh, really? Oh, Cordelia awaits. Well, what do you know? There we go. It's not gunmetal, it's gunmetal. The excellence in armament. This was not easy to do. I needed to get every weapon in the game, which includes, well, of course, defeating enemy aces, although I think the skirmish expert level ones are completely optional, but also the pure randomness of what Princess Cordelia chooses to award me, because this was actually my second attempt at getting those weapons, and I don't mean Chapter 16 and Chapter 17. I mean Chapter 17 and then reload Chapter 17. So, let's look at my decorations. Oh my goodness. Presented to a squad shown to have procured a robust and effective arsenal through hard work and thorough development. Because yes, I had to also do the R&D stuff, which means bronze and silver. So I'm assuming the gold, yeah, the golden arms of Gallia. I need to take down 1,000 enemies, which means at this particular point about 300 more. And this, the Wings of Solidarity, is for beating the game with all of my troops alive. And so far it looks like that is exactly what is going to happen. Let's take care of them. Oh, hey, look at this. I'm on the final mission of the game again. Super damage, oh boy. To get a little poetic justice, if I can at all help it, I'm going to finish the job with my main man Vice one more time, and... no.
You can't dodge this.
Undodgeable, super damage. Ooh.
One more for good measure.
Look at that. A turn 1 kill. He didn't even power up. That's ridiculous. Well, I mean, I guess I did a turn 1 anyway, but a phase 1 kill. Marvelous. And I did it with Salvaria's gun. Poetic justice is nice. Oh, and look, a medal awaits me. Why don't we take a look?
Lieutenant Welkin Gunther, step forward. In honor of your manifold accomplishments, you are hereby awarded this honor.
I've been waiting for this one. The Golden Arms of Gallia.
Furthermore, for your squad's
Oh yes, the endgame weapons, which I don't care so much about. But yeah, I finally took down 1,000 enemies, which means that... Oof, getting a lot of these. Which means that I am almost done with everything in the game. So, to make sure that I am actually done with everything in the game...
The 25th day of October, 1935. The death of Maximilian, commander of the Empire's invasion of Gallia, paved the way for truce between the two nations.
Mossad, he's here.
After 7
Ted's
tumultuous
living!
months at war, Gallians everywhere looked forward to a time of hard-won peace. Squad 7 of the Gallian militia disbanded shortly after the conflict's conclusion. And its members began to
Newt
move on,
Young
each
is alive
following
as
his or
well.
her own path.
And now we get to the snipers.
And here, at the end of their long struggle, I lay my pen to rest.
Now that feels really nice. And what does that mean for us? Oh, I don't even remember this. A new episode in form of the epilogue? I guess that's the post-credit sequence when you see Welkin and Alicia and their kid. I didn't realize I could just view that on command. I guess you have to beat the game a second time. I assume that's what this is. I think so. I remember the leaf. Yeah, okay. Right. I could do a new playthrough should I desire. But now I could actually consciously view the epilogue. That's kind of nice. But there is a reason for me to do that. If I load my file one more time...
Prologue.
Cordelia waits.
Lieutenant Welkin Gunther, step forward. In honor of your manifold accomplishments, you are hereby awarded this honor.
Highness, it's an honor.
There it is, the last one. The Wings of Solidarity. Which means... Valkyrie of the Battlefield, which is new for the remaster because it's a platinum achievement. In the original game, there were no actual in-game trophies, it was just the medals. Which means we can now do two things. One, simply observe the decorations. Damn. I didn't know I was going to get a jingle for that. So we have the Golden Arms of Gallia, kill 1,000 enemies, and the Wings of Solidarity, everybody lives. And now for one of my favorite parts of the game. The post-game personnel files. We get to see everybody's happy endings. Cordelia. I think we might have read the second to last paragraph, but... An accomplished ballerina, trained since early childhood, her skill is said to be enough to bewitch the audience, though opportunities to witness it are rare. Reminded of her pride and duty as ruler through her interactions with Welkin, she elected to turn and face her people with selfless candor and sincerity. Martha. After evacuating Brule, she moved to the capital with her family. Concern for Welkin and Isara eventually drove her to take up work at the militia mess hall. And the baby... When asked to be the child's godfather, Welkin offered wishes that he grow as tall and strong as a Gallian willow, naming the child after the genus Salix. Martha's husband, a landscaper, planted a Gallian willow in Brule to commemorate their son's birth. Both tree and child are now growing by leaps and bounds. Isara. So the daughter, Isara. Daughter of Welkin and Alicia, named for Welkin's late sister. Every bit Welkin's daughter, she's loved nature since birth. She once gave Alicia a rare grass centipede as a present. The gift literally bowled her mother over. Always quick to mimic her mother, Isara is most always seen in the matching uniform Alicia made her, doing her best to help out at the bakery. Alex. He set out together with his new friends to find the life in the sky he'd dreamed of since he was a young boy. His parting words were, "I'm off to be a real bird." Kevin. He took up martial arts to combat his introverted tendencies and ultimately became Kevin the Abattoir Abbott, every kid in Gallia's favorite pro wrestler. Kobe. After leaving Squad 7, he began a school to train young carpenters. Years later, surrounded by his large family and many students, he ended his life in peace. Salinas. His love of tanks kept him in the force after the war, though that meant more time spent around tanks than ever, his time around the ladies suffered horribly. Hannes. After saving the daughter of a well-off merchant from ruffians, he took on work as the family's butler. His inability to fix tea properly keeps him up at night. Okay. Mika. I Think I Can't, a self-published memoir of his failings, was a big hit despite its gloomy, navel-gazing nature, and sales continue to rise. Vice. He left the militia for parts unknown and a new adventure. No galleon has seen him ever since he boarded a ship at a sleepy quay, shrouded in morning fog. How appropriate. Lynn. After the war, she returned to Fausen as Carl's bride. When seeking playmates for her children, she made a point of making friends with her non-Darkson neighbors. That's heartwarming. Wendy. Post-EW2, she took work at the Gallian National Arsenal developing explosives. Her designs, while potent, have all been too unstable for a sane soldier to use. Yeah, I mentioned this before, but her voice acting's pretty fun when you select her. Like, kaboom. Edie. Upon hearing of Rosie's success singing, she tried to become an even bigger star, only to find she was tone deaf. Yeah, we know. She is now training to become a real actress. Aisha. Over the course of the war, she grew to feel a strong admiration for Captain Varrock, and began reading up on the art of war in order to follow her example. Jane. She stayed on after the war to train new recruits with a drill instructor. Even stricter than he. Soldiers now whisper the name Sadistic Jane with reverence. That's great. Dorothy. Following her dream, she began a jewelry company. To avoid the need to speak to others directly, her business works on a custom-made, mail-order-only basis. Nina. After EW2, she left on a journey-come-workout where she met the man of her dreams and married. Despite dwarfing her spouse, she continues to lift daily. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, she loves being around big, tough people. Musad. Leaving only the observation, "My place has only ever been on the field of war." He disappeared from Gallia. His current whereabouts are unknown. Bizarre. Hermes. He began work as an action star, but one broken leg later, all offers for roles have ceased coming in. Presently, he is training up his endurance under Nina. Oh, well, perfect person to do it with. Melville. Together with his friends, he began working as a professional clown. His naturally goofy persona and trademark hairstyle predictably win laughs from all ages. Ted. Oh, perfect. After the war, he invited a group of his close friends to form a comedy troupe, the Dancing Bears. Their antics helped put the smiles back on Galleon's faces. We're on Scouts now, so oh boy. But trust me, it's worth it. Wavy. With a wife and daughter in tow, he moved to a remote part of Gallia and founded a school for underprivileged children. Montley. Hired as a delivery man due to his fleet feet, his employers didn't realize just how fast he is. All the downtime tempts him to run off, often making him late. Ironic. Nos. Just as he finished the last song in his Alicia compilation, he heard of her marriage to Welkin. Oh no! Returning home, he became head of the Bruletown Watch. Fair enough, that sucks. Nancy. A pioneer in the raising of long-haired mules, she had orders for their warm, soft wool pouring in until she left the pen gate unlocked and they wandered off. Oh no! Ramona. She became the top model for a globally renowned designer, appearing in several important fashion shows. Lately, she's begun work on her own line of designs. Susie. Despite heavy opposition from within her family, she used personal funds to build a shelter for those injured in the war, where she continues to work today. Frisia. When a wealthy merchant offered to marry her, she replied that she would never be tied down to any man. She's continued life as a traveling dancer ever since. Huh. Juno. Juno returned to school to continue her studies in microbiology. She eventually discovered a microbe with medical uses, naming it after a certain EW2 hero. Is this a real thing that we're supposed to reference? I'm not... Cherry. She returned home where, at only 17, she married and gave birth to a child. She divorced soon after and now spends her days devoted to raising her daughter. Aika. She left Gallia for places unknown and a new adventure for untold treasures, with a new comrade she'd found in Squad 7 there at her side. No kidding, she took people in Squad 7. Jan. Trading a blast suit for an apron, Jan founded a kindergarten in his hometown where he devoted his life to the local kids as their beloved Uncle Jay. Nice. Nils. A long chain of turf battles ultimately saw him reigning at the peak of Gallia's underworld, enforcing his own code of honor in concert with the government. Wow. Theold. Meeting a woman of truly noble character and experiencing real love for the first time profoundly changed him, as few who knew him before would believe possible. Yeah, he was just like a bully, wasn't he? He enjoys tormenting Kevin. Walter. After opening his dream restaurant back home, he was shocked to find that his grisly countenance kept the customers at bay. He still isn't quite over it yet. Hector. He began Gallia's first major shipping company, which rose to be the top name in deliveries, a success rumored to come from his popularity among housewives. Audrey. Her brute strength later saw her hired as bodyguard to a popular actor. Shortly after saving his life from an attack, she was promoted to the role of wife. Congratulations. Rosina. Back home, she founded a fitness center. The set of novel bodybuilding techniques she developed there earned her the title of Princess of the Muscle World. Nice. Maybe she was the one who liked hanging around with the big muscly people? Yoko. The war's end saw the reopening of her shop where she later met and married a regular 10 years her junior and bore twins. The whole family now helps cook. Elise. Granted a post in Princess Cordelia's royal guard in light of her successes on the battlefield in EW2, she now spends her days guarding Castle Rangris. Good move. She's got really good potential abilities. Newt Young. After opening Gallia's first casino in downtown Rangris to wild profit, he set off for the Federation in search of new sources of capital. I love when he calls for a medic, by the way. Medic! Herbert. Though a completely accidental discovery of a Ragnite lode made him an overnight millionaire, he couldn't be bothered to spend it, so he gave it to his brother. Wow. I mean, that ties into his biography. He enjoys, or he avoids spending energy, and he rides a horse to avoid walking, but, like, damn. He's so lazy he can't spend free money. Carl. After marrying his Darkson lover Lynn, the two have had many children and are in the process of living happily ever after. I love that. Again, Lynn joins the crew when Carl gets injured. She appears, like, because she's concerned. So that's really sweet to hear. Homer. He remained in the militia, ignoring the concerns of those around him. His grace while cutting across the field, smile on his face, has been likened to a swan's. Dallas. Though news of Alicia's marriage struck her hard, she soon awoke to a newfound appreciation for Rosie's untamed allure and began following her around instead. Alright, just follows people around. Ramsey. She took a cushy job at a major weapons firm, but one too many malfunctions got her fired. Since then, she's been back to work on maintenance-free weaponry. What does that mean? Like swords? Nadine. She is now hard at work penning a novel, a long-time dream of hers. Her first book is a tale of epic romance, sure to warm the hearts of ladies across Europa. Claudia. Feeling a strong calling to help others, she decided to become a nurse, though accidents and natural disasters kept her from reaching the exam multiple times. Emil. He showed up if Homer gets injured. He returned to rest in the country while helping his brother study to become a doctor. The watercolors he paints on the side hang in galleries across Rangris. Oscar. Oh, that's right, Oscar's the brother. Deciding to become a doctor in order to cure his brother, he began studying at a furious pace. Thoughts of practicing surgery on real people have him spooked. Yeah, he says he's quite timid. Cesare. While climbing a tree to capture a rare bird rumored to sell for thousands, he fell again. The head trauma erased both his memory and his cynical personality. Okay. Marina. Following in her father's footsteps, she became a hunter famed for never letting her prey escape. She now lives with a fox she found injured in the mountains. Aww. Catherine. Tired of the ceaseless fighting of man, she chose a hermit's life deep in the mountains. She passes her days in peace, wishing for an end to war everywhere. She's the last person on this page. So, Medic is it. Stating that there were countless people the world over who needed their help, the triplets departed Gallia together with their newfound friends. Isn't that just nice? Almost everybody lives happily ever after, and even the ones that don't have a somewhat upbeat ending anyway. This is a really satisfying game, and I'm very happy to have played it twice. Twice in this playthrough and twice before, so I've ultimately platinum the game twice. Tons of fun, and one of my favorite RPG stories. Well, we have done it. We have beaten one of my favorite RPGs, Valkyria Chronicles, this time the remaster. What a fantastic experience it was to relive this title. Now, of course, the game is not without its flaws. As I said in the beginning, you can pretty much just solo a bunch of the missions with a single scout, even though they're supposed to be the softest targets you have, except for possibly the engineers. They could just burst through the entire battlefield, touch the flag. Oh, that means I win! And unfortunately, I think you might be even required to do that for a lot of missions if you want to get the A ranking. The game is squad-based, and yet the only thing that determines an A ranking is the number of turns you take. So you want to give all of your available moves to the people who can move the fastest. The only real exceptions I can think of for this are get Welkin to destination, which those were bonus missions only, and take out every single enemy on the map. That's when you actually start using your other units, but for the most part, just concentrate on the one unit that's going to win and do that. But even so, I really like the game and the potential that it offers, as well as the characters and their interactions. Even the characters you may not like are quite memorable. I particularly enjoyed, though, the dynamic between Isara and Rosie especially. Largo a little bit. He seemed a little more willing to accept others, even though he was kind of grumbling about it at first. But Rosie was the real threshold to cross here. Isara's death was tragic, but it was, I thought, a pretty solid conclusion to even her arc with Rosie, and then an excellent, not start, but maybe a sort of kickstart of Rosie's real putting her money where her mouth is, to the point where her report was just wiping out an entire squad that was supposed to go and capture random Darkson people. So that was a pretty cool conclusion, seeing how far Rosie has come. I had mentioned in the installment where Isara died that I'd read the art book and got some behind-the-scenes information. Here's another one for you. It was going to be sadder. What was going to happen was Isara's piloting the tank, and I guess some shot might have penetrated the tank or something and hit her, but it wasn't enough to be fatal yet. She'd be slowly bleeding out, so during the mission, her tank driving performance would suffer, but she's keeping her injury a secret so as not to drain morale. So Welkin's going like, yo, Isara, what's going on with your performance here? You gotta step it up. And she's like, yeah, sure, but like, I'm glad they didn't go in that direction, because that would have put guilt on the main character and probably the player too. This one seems like a more fitting way of developing the characters, especially Rosie and Isara. And I gotta say, I really appreciate that her plane was finished, and even named after her, and Welkin's and Alicia's daughter, Welkin and Alicia's daughter, same set of parents, was also named Isara to carry on the name. I very much appreciate that. I know it's kind of sappy, but I really get a kick out of this ending, along with Skies of Arcadia's, where it's just generally, here's the conclusion you probably wanted to see, with where are they now of all of your surviving squad members. And in Skies of Arcadia, where are they now with the party members that you managed to find on your journey. I like that Vysenaika and Fina, and apparently her triplet sisters, she's one of triplets now, sure. Or if not triplets, then at least identical looking sisters. I guess they moved on. They're done with the European War, the Second European War. What I also like, as this is something I didn't quite expect, but I had mentioned before that the original release of Valkyria Chronicles did not have trophy support. It was an early PS3 title, but there were in-game achievements in terms of the medals you earn. Obviously, this game still has that, but it has trophy support. And I was wondering, is there a platinum trophy? And there is. And it's awesome. They designed a new medal, and it looks really cool. So it was kind of nice to see that. It's sort of a new little bit of content. And speaking of maybe not new content, but the DLC was entertaining as well. the various class trials, the shock trooper trial, the tank trial, etc., the Edie's detachment stuff, Salvaria's missions, including actually getting to use her Valkyria form. That was great. It was in the original game too, you just had to download it as separate DLC, so it's nice that it's packaged in with this thing. What a great title. I'm super happy to have played it, and I look forward to, eventually, tackling the future Valkyria Chronicles games. At the time of this recording, there are 4 more, although Valkyria Chronicles 3 has not been localized. It has been fan-translated at least. Maybe I'll find a way to look at it. But hey, there's 2, 4, and Revolutions. Maybe we could check those out at some point. In any case, thank you very much for watching this playthrough. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed playing it. And I also got to give a shout out. I used multiple different videos, so I don't remember all the names, but you'd better believe I used a bunch of video walkthroughs to get a bunch of my A rankings. I didn't just come up with this stuff. A lot of this stuff relied on already knowing where the mission was going to go and knowing where enemies would be placed, even if they were invisible. Not to mention reload after reload after reload of missed shots or killed characters or whatever. What you have witnessed was very edited footage. Trust me on that. But in any case, thank you to the various people on YouTube who made those video guides. Thank you once again for watching. The next playthrough I do is going to be a blast from the past. If you've heard of it, we'll find out. Until next time, everyone.